First of all, I want to thank you all for being here tonight, and I'm just really excited to get you off to a great start with your Mary Kay. Now, of course, as we sit and look, some of you are in your red jackets, and we're going to be talking about you just a little bit later and the level that you've come to. Those of you that are out of the area, my purpose is to be able to personally train you so that you can have as successful of a business or even better than I personally have had. Tonight, the one item that we're going to start with is attitude, because 90% of your altitude, how high you climb, is based on attitude. And I want you to start out with PMA. We all know that expression, I hope, positive mental attitude. What is PMA? It's knowing that there's negative in life, it's accepting the negative and getting on with your life. Now, the opposite of that is called PMS. And I don't know about you all, but I know some people that PMS 30 days a month. Do y'all? Mm-hmm. Well, here's a question I want you to ask yourself. Do you want to hang around people that plus you about yourself or multiply you about yourself, or do you want to hang around people that minus you about yourself or divide you? Which do you think would be the smartest thing to do? Obviously plus or multiply, correct? So be careful who you spend your time around. Now, sometimes we are around people that are negative, and they are family, and so we have no choice but to be around them. However, limit your time and make sure that you only share your goals with the people that are going to support what you want out of Mary Kay, because there will always be some naysayers who say, you can't do that. What makes you think you could possibly do that? Okay? So in positive mental attitude, as I said, knowing there's negative in life, every one of us is going to have roller coaster lives in our personal life, in raising children, in our marriage, and in our Mary Kay career. The difference is, how long does it take us to get through our pity parties? Do we want to take a long time? Initially, when I joined Mary Kay, I was excited. I was high as the ceiling. When I was low, I was on the carpet. And when someone canceled and I was really disappointed, I may not book an appointment for 3 weeks. And then it began to be 2.5 weeks, and then it began to be 2 weeks, and eventually I set the buzzer on my stove and I took 10 minutes out for pity parties. And if it was really bad, I might give myself an hour. All right, so no, there is negative. You're just going to get on with it. Look at successful people, and almost every successful person you know has more negative things that have happened in their life than they do positive. The difference is they choose to focus on the good and pick themselves back up. Like the bootstraps is what my father used to say all the time. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and go back again to what it is that you want. So positive mental attitude, knowing there's negative in life. So the big question comes up, oh, that sounds great, but how am I supposed to stay positive when all this stuff is going on? I find there's 3 ways. Number 1 is success meeting, and I applaud those of you that are at success meeting, because that's where you get your shot in the arm every single week. Mary Kay had a philosophy, and it was, if you're sick, when you miss 1, you're sick. When you miss 2, you're dying. And when you miss 3 in a row, you're dead to your Mary Kay career. Now, that doesn't mean you can't come back, because we have people in our unit that didn't do anything for 6 months, and all of a sudden, they came back. And the decision was, number 1, I'm going to go to meetings. I'm going to find a meeting where I'm at, and if you can't find one, I'll find one for you. Is that fair? Number 2, go to any event that the company has, whether it's a career conference, seminar, a jamboree, a university, MK University, whatever's going on in your area, go to it. Sometimes we have to hop on a plane and go somewhere else. In 34 years, I've never missed a seminar. Now, did I go perfect? Heck no. I took a 6-week-old and a 3.5-year-old one time and had a babysitter come to the room. Do you think that was fun? No, I was young. Would I do it again at this age? If I had to do it to be successful, I would do it. And I believe that it was those little things that made a difference in putting me where I am today. The second one is motivational books. Now, most of us don't have time to read a lot of books. We're on the go so much, and I would say that time is one of the commodities that we're all short on. So I would say go to the library and get books on tape. One of the newest ones that I've started listening to is called Cracking the Millionaire Code, and it's written by Mark Victor Hansen, who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. There's 2 authors to it. It is fabulous, from the library for free, okay? Or you can get it from Books on Tape and then swap it out for another set. You don't have to buy all these motivational tapes yourself. The company has for us CDs at $2 a piece, $2. Would y'all agree that's an incredible investment? Where we can learn how to keep a positive mental attitude, how to book appointments, how to coach hostesses, how to do our business full circle, how to set goals in life. So all of those are available to you for $2 a piece. All right, would you agree? Smart time and money management. Let your car be your university. Who spends time in their car? Anybody? Okay, so be listening to tapes. As you're going to classes, as you're going to your other jobs, as you're off on a trip. My kids used to make fun of us. And one time they had me laughing so hard, they just started telling stories of the tapes that they grew up on. From the time they were babies till they were 16 years old, one day they finally said, could we listen to real music like normal kids? Because I was always feeding them because I needed to be fed myself. So positive motivational tapes are the second thing, or the third thing. So books, go to meetings, and then I have a fourth one, and that is a conference call that I hold every single Monday at noon. Okay, that's noon East Coast time, 9 a.m. West Coast time. We also happen to do right now every other Sunday night. So call in on those calls. I give you the number right now, but it's probably better if you check because that number could change once we get it on these DVDs. So those are the ways that you keep yourself positive and just continue going with what's going on in your life. Now that we have a positive mental attitude, we should be talking about image. And it's so funny because y'all have the image already. But this is designed for people that aren't here tonight. And as we talk about image, Mary Kay taught me very early on, it was important that I wear a dress. Now I have to tell you that when I started with the company, I'm so old, that the agreement said you must wear a skirt or a dress to your classes. Well, you see, I resented that. I was 20 years old, I was 21 years old. And I resented it because in my era, we picketed on college campuses in order to be able to wear slacks to class. It was less than 1 year, and now somebody's telling me I have to wear a dress. I don't like that, and I'm sure some of you are going, oh my gosh, nobody told me I had to wear a dress. You're thinking, there's professional pantsuits out there. There was a study done years ago in the banking industry. All of the women were put in red jackets, red blazers, just like our senior consultants. However, the women were divided into two categories, nice tailored slacks or skirt. At the end of the study, they found that women who were in the skirts were thought to be the presidents and the vice presidents of the bank. And the ones that were in slacks were the workers. Interesting. Not that vice presidents and presidents aren't workers, they are. But they just thought the higher rank was based on the skirt. Isn't that interesting? More importantly, we want to look better than everybody else that comes to our skincare class. We want them to be thinking, I want to look like them. I want to have that professional image. And I want to give you an example of a time in my career. I really didn't own a dress when I joined Mary Kay. I don't know whether I should be saying this on tape. But in all honesty, my recruiter looked at me and said, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I had gained 50 pounds of the pregnancy and I didn't own a dress. About 3 months after I was in Mary Kay, she invited me to her house to learn how to do a skincare class and to assist her. And she said, I've got some extra dresses that don't fit me. And I just wondered if they might fit you if you'd like to have them. Now, it was 10 years later before it dawned on me, the light bulb went off. The reason she gave me those dresses was to get me in a dress and to have a professional image. I was a longtime director talking about image when it sunk in. How many of you are going, she's a little slow? It's okay, it doesn't matter. As long as you don't quit, you will get where you want to go. So I began to wear dresses then, and about 6 months later, I took some of my hard-earned money after I had built up my inventory with Mary Kay, and I bought myself a beautiful suit. It was, I'll never forget it. It was a short sleeve jacket with a long sleeve blouse underneath it. The skirt, the heels, the pantyhose, everything was so put together. I went to hold my class that night, and if you ever wonder if image makes a difference, when I went to hold that class, the hostess met me at the door just as her best friend got there, and her best friend said, I don't buy anything. I don't wear Mary Kay. I'm allergic to it. And she said, how many girls do you have coming tonight? And the hostess said, oh, nobody's coming. I don't think I have anybody else except you. Well, you can imagine my heart just sunk because I just spent a whole bunch of money on that professional image. That guest that said she was allergic to it said, you're not having the show with just you, me, and her. And she went and knocked on the neighbors' doors and invited people over. At the end of the show that night, I earned enough money to pay for that suit. But remember the girl that told me she wouldn't buy it? She spent $150 with me, and that was back in the early 70s. What does that tell you? I think image makes a difference. If your attitude's positive and you have a professional image, people will listen to what you have to say. They'll try the product, and the product will sell itself, but it does help with some training on how to learn to close professionally. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about image. Whatever you don't like about yourself, get it fixed. If you don't like your nails, Go get a manicure. If you don't like your hair, get it cut. Get it styled. If you don't like the clothes you're wearing, I'm not saying you need to go spend a lot of money on clothes. I'm saying go buy one outfit that when you put it on, you look and you feel like $1,000,000. We all have one in our closet, don't we? We know which one it is. I don't care if you have to wear it over and over and over again or wear your Mary Kay beauty coat. That will give you the professional image that you need to be successful in Mary Kay. The last part of image, it's wearing everything that's in the Mary Kay line. It's finding a fragrance that you like so that when someone says, what is that fragrance? It smells great, that you can say it's Mary Kay and that you have integrity instead of saying, I've heard people say it's Mary Kay and it's not Mary Kay and they've made up a name of a fragrance. That won't hack it. All right, if you're not trying eyeshadows, if you're not trying the new lip gloss, if you haven't tried the new Sell You shape that's out, how can you sell what you do not try? How can you go where you've not been? So it's important that we learn to experiment with all the different products. Occasionally there is a product you may not be able to use. And I'll never forget the very first national sales director to retire, Helen McVoy, never once verbalized that she could not use Mary Kay skin freshener when we only had a 5-step skincare program. When she retired over 10 years ago, with more than $150,000 a year, which back then that was a lot of money. Now it's a whole lot more. It's probably 15 years ago she retired. The company brought her up on stage to tell her story. And she said, you know what, when I joined Mary Kay, I saw an incredible business opportunity. I was allergic to the freshener, but I wouldn't have told anybody for $1,000,000. She said, now that I'm retiring and I've made a lot of people successful and I've made a lot of money, I just want to tell you, you don't have to be able to use everything. You just don't tell everybody you can't use that particular item. So there will be products that work for you. I personally believe that we need to open up that showcase. The company gives us almost $400 worth of products in that showcase. And it's important that we try every single cleanser, every single moisturizer, every single item. We aren't going to be able to use them all. There's going to be one that's special for us and works for us. But at least we know what other people have put on their face. So that is part of the image. You do want to wear black pumps and pantyhose with your outfits. Okay? That's the professional look that we're asking you to have. Now that we have a positive mental attitude, we have a professional image, I want to talk to you about goal setting. To me, goal setting is something that has made such a difference in my life. And when I joined the company and heard the word goal, I don't know about you all, I thought it was at the end of a football field. Most women of my era were not taught to set goals for themselves. The goal would be find a man, get married, and be happy the rest of your life. And unfortunately, sometimes we found that Prince Charming wasn't Prince Charming. It wasn't a white horse. And we found out that we needed to take care of ourselves. I believe that young women today need to be trained financially, that they need to be independent. And when Prince Charming does show up, hey, I've been married 35 years, almost 36. I believe in that without a shadow of a doubt, but I also think it's smart to have the financial resources should something happen to him, something happen to my children, that I have the money to keep going. So I believe that's part of goal setting. Now, Mary Kay is so smart because I'm going to show you some of the goals that they encourage you to set for yourself. First of all, the very first goal, there's going to be 3 P's. All right, number 1 is going to be a perfect start, power start. Just write PS for perfect start and power start. A perfect start is doing 15 faces in 15 days, and a power start is 30 faces in 30 days. And I know as I'm looking at Sharon, I remember when she did her power start and led by example, set the pace for people. And that's exactly what you want to do. I want you to think about building your business. I like to compare it to building a house, building with bricks. And you know, I don't want you to tell your customers that I called their faces bricks, but think of this scenario. If I'm going to build a house, even if it's a smaller house, and I use lots of concrete, but I only put 3 to 5 bricks on the bottom of my foundation, and then the next layer some concrete, maybe 5 or 6 or 7, and then the next one maybe 10 or 15, to me that's an inverted. Would you agree? The strength is not going to be at the bottom, it's going to be up here. And yet the base of our business needs to have a strong foundation. So by doing one face at a time for 52 weeks, you will build some self-confidence, you will build some self-esteem in your business. But wouldn't it make more sense if you did 3 to 5 faces in a week? or you did 3 to 5 faces every 3 to 5 days, and at the end of a month you had put it on 30 faces. Which one would help you build a stronger self-confidence in what you do? One at a time, over an extended period of time, or 30 faces done quickly together? Okay, now Sharon, do you remember what your sales were?
When I did that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they were real high.
I think $3,000.
Yeah.
Does that sound about
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Most consultants do about $3,000 with 30 faces. I just had somebody else share that they'd done 30, and I think she came up with 2,200 this week. But that's unusual. Almost always it will average out about $100 a face. So $3,000, who would find $3,000 could change the complexion of your bank account if you could do that your very first month in Mary Kay. Let's talk about the difference between self-esteem and self-confidence so you understand that. Self-esteem is what you bought into. What have other people